A powerful evening of protests and demonstrations tonight in Indianapolis. Protesters and police coming together. However, things are playing out a bit differently on the national stage. Right now, President Trump is now threatening to deploy U.S. troops across the country unless the violence stops. He also is warning governors coast to coast if they can't take control, he says he will. This announcement came moments before a clash outside the White House today. In that incident, police used tear gas and mounted officers to clear protesters from the area where President Trump was visiting a damaged church. So far tonight, things here in Indianapolis seem calmer. There's another curfew in place. It started at 8 and runs until 4 in the morning. Andrea is joining us from home tonight, and we will first check in with Emily, who is seeing yet another wave of protests underway right now in the heart of our city.
Yeah, hi, Anne-Marie. That's right. We're on Meridian Street here, just a little bit north of the Circle. I think that some of these protesters are some of the same folks that actually were down here this afternoon and walked all the way to the governor's mansion tonight, a whole 5 miles, because they wanted their message, Black Lives Matter, to be heard. They went 5 miles all the way up to the governor's mansion, where police met them in riot gear. We're going to show you some of those powerful moments here in just a moment, but right now this is the scene playing out at Meridian and Vermont Street. Police asking them to disperse. I see some of them leaving, but let's go to what happened earlier tonight at the governor's mansion. It was powerful.
We're tired of killing.
Protesters and public servants face to face on North Meridian Street just outside the governor's mansion, even after Monday's mandatory curfew expired. For close to 30 minutes, it was a tension-filled back and forth. The protesters shouting their demands, police telling them to disperse or face arrests. The city's deputy mayor, David Hampton, at one point acting as a mediator between the two sides. At one point, many of the protesters shouted at police, asking officers to walk with them to show solidarity, even as some protesters continued to shout curses. And then this. Without explanation, some officers took off their helmets, put down their batons, as protesters reached across an invisible divide, advancing to hug them and shake hands. The moment of shared peace continued, with these two officers joining the protesters, walking and sharing words and an arm around a shoulder.
But anyone that's drove through Indianapolis knows what we've had to deal with the last 3 nights, right? Shots fired, Molotov, and destroyed the city.
The protesters and the rioters are two different groups of people.
All of it. It is all of our responsibility, if we're going to peacefully assemble, to keep it peaceful, right? We have to take an active role to make sure, not just the police, all of us have to have that voice to keep it peaceful. And that's how we make change.
I feel like our message was heard by some at least, and it wasn't for nothing. When we pulled up and they immediately were ready for us, I thought, and I was 100% ready and willing to die right there for this cause. And I never in a million years thought I would embrace a cop like that.
So what you just saw in that video, is it the beginning of something, a bridging of a gap between the two sides? At least certainly for tonight. I have to say that the group here gathered at Vermont and Meridian, a really small group, and none of the people that I recognize from that video that we saw earlier tonight shaking hands and walking with police. So it looks like police are interacting with them here in some way, but certainly a very small group, and none of the folks that we recognize that were outside of the governor's mansion. Ann?
All right, thank you, Emily. Also, I want to let you know that that group, as they were dispersing from the governor's home tonight, they promised to gather at Monument Circle for a peaceful demonstration at 4 o'clock every day this week through Saturday. Well, so far, we haven't yet heard back from the governor from the protests outside his home tonight. Earlier today, however, he joined with state leaders to say that the time and the opportunity to make progress against injustice is here now.
Indiana seeks to be a leader on this front, not just with more talks or town halls, but more importantly in our actions, in our agenda revolving around inequity and disparity at the city, state, and national levels.
platforms, protests must stay peaceful so community leaders can focus on the work that's at hand. Well, tonight in Indianapolis, the city leaders are promising to investigate several videos of interactions between officers and protesters. These videos were taken over the weekend. In one of those videos, very similar to this one, you can see that tear gas is used on people during a peaceful protest. Karen Campbell joins us live tonight. And Karen, I understand you were able to get a hold of some video and you're able to talk with a woman who recorded all when there was tear gas being used on the protesters. What did you learn from her tonight?
Yeah, that's right, Emery. And as you heard now, this is a repeated message about that curfew here in Monument Circle. The woman I spoke with also spoke with her husband and the pastor earlier today. They were sitting right here on the steps of Monument Circle. This was about 6:30 last night when, unfortunately, they were caught in the middle of tear gas.
Hallelujah. Yes, God.
A prayer vigil on the steps of Monument Circle in downtown Indy.
Right before that we saw that gas hit, we were having an amazing time. We felt the Spirit hit that part of the circle.
Lydia Watson shot this video with her cell phone on Facebook Live.
Move.
She was with other members of her church Sunday for an impromptu prayer vigil. She says shortly after 7 p.m., 1 hour before a county-wide curfew took effect, a small group of people could be seen on Meridian Street throwing things at officers. They believe police shot off tear gas to help disperse that crowd.
Quickly, we found ourselves gasping for air, not being able to see, realizing I looked down on the ground and I saw one of the canisters before, right in front of one of our sisters that was in a wheelchair that day.
You okay? Mackenzie.
Minister Takoya, she began to pick up the mic and begin to pray more, even in the midst of the tear gas.
The goal was to help bring peace to the city.
We recognize that every person has value, has worth, and so we came just to be a calming presence in a city that's in turmoil right now.
With a message of love.
The church is against racism. We are against discrimination. We are against inequality. And we want people to know that we stand behind them in that. But we are also against violence. And we're also against disturbing the peace of our brothers and our sisters.
Yeah, and IMPD Chief Taylor says there is video evidence from the scene that day. What it shows is a group of people surrounding officers trying to prevent those officers from arresting someone who was apparently causing damage to some of the properties around here. Now, IMPD, they're also looking into video regarding an officer using force on a protester. Anne-Marie?
Karen, I'll take it back. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. New tonight, Carmel's mayor is now pulling back on his plans to sue the city of Minneapolis. In fact, Mayor Brainer initially claimed if not for the negligence of Minneapolis Police Department, many communities, including Carmel, would not have incurred the cost of responding to the resulting riots and the looting. But just a few hours later, he backpedaled, announcing that this idea is now on hold. He says he still feels the department was recklessly negligent given the disciplinary history of the officer involved in Floyd's death. He says tonight this was not about inflicting more pain on the people of Minneapolis, but, quote, sending a message to his leaders that we will no longer tolerate the violence and the damage that results from their inability or unwillingness to treat all people with respect. And also new tonight, the officer accused in George Floyd's death could now face some upgraded charges. This is according to Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison, who is now prosecuting this case. Today, meanwhile, a new autopsy report for Floyd is causing quite a debate tonight. A county medical examiner ruled his death a homicide, but also cited other conditions like hypertension and drug use. But another autopsy ordered by Floyd's family shows no other health problems contributed to his death. We'll keep you updated.